Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Defion Productions podcast. I'm your host, Don. This is the hardest working nobody in Bitcoin. Alongside in studio for the first time in a long time, the hardest working nobody in crypto, Troy. This is the Defion Productions podcast. This is our 74th episode. We're going to talk a lot today about PiCoin, which launched officially at about 3 o'clock, 3:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've been making a lot of videos over the past at least year on my thoughts on the project. So we're going to talk in depth about its launch, what we think about the launch itself, what we think about the coin, the price action, and all things leading up to that and the ideology that people have in regards to Pi being better than Bitcoin and, the Bitcoin maxi.
What's Pi?
We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about a tweet that I made earlier in the week about the DOGE Dividend, which I thought was a logical, harmless tweet that ended up garnering me having to turn off my notifications on X because it got so much feedback, I guess you could say. Some of it was positive, a lot of it was not. So we'll talk about that and all things Bitcoin and crypto. We'll start out with the markets. We got a little bit of a pump going on right now. Bitcoin is at 98.5, up about 2.4% in the last 24 hours. Dead chain walking, Ethereum is at 2,750. XRP, $2.71. Solana, $175.04. Bitcoin dominance still sitting at 60%. Total crypto market cap, 3.24 trillion. And the coin that we're going to talk about today, PiCoin, at the present moment that we're filming right now, is at 79 cents a coin. Before we jump into that first topic, how you feeling, Troy? Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to throw out on the table?
I mean, it's the same. Ooh, that did fall off a cliff. I pulled up the Pi network chart on TraderView, but it's the same story with me, man. Like, I'm heavily invested in altcoins, and Ethereum's my largest position. So I'm really just waiting for some signals to go in my favor, which I think are going to happen later this year, but we can get into that later in this topic. But PiCoin, I'm looking at it right now. So, because we were looking at this, I asked you before we got on this podcast, I seen PiCoin trading at, I think it was like $62, $61 on Coinbase, and people
it wasn't trading on Coinbase to be completely transparent and regulatory or whatever the word you want to use is. It was trading. It was showing an IOU. Mm-hmm. An IOU is not what the coin is actually trading at. And Pi, as of right now, is not even trading on Coinbase at all. Mm-hmm. It's only on, as far as I know, OKX, Bit. You know what? Pull up that tweet, the Pi Network tweet. I don't know if it's on there.
Yeah.
It is actually not. But there's 3 overseas exchanges as of right now that are trading, that you can sell, buy, transact with PiCoin. Let's recap kind of how all this started, so our viewers, that at least my viewers that are just Bitcoin only like myself, kind of understand why this is even being talked about at all in regards to this podcast. To recap, Pi Network was a coin that was created in 2019 in the bear market, between the 2017 run, the 2021 run, by 3 Stanford professors. Only 2 are still with the project now, I believe, that had the idea to create a coin that you could mine, and I use that in quotations because you're not really mining. Mining is proof of work. This is not proof of work. You click a button on a cell phone and you get credits or coins in Pi Network. At the very beginning, it was like multiple coins per hour that you were getting to press that button, once per 24 hours. Later on, they added some ads for revenue onto the app. Later on, come 2021, that was the first talk of, they actually went to a closed mainnet first, where you could actually transfer your coins into a wallet and actually, have them in a wallet feature. Mm-hmm. And that was the first time they started talking about actually opening the mainnet where people could actually trade them. That's where the problem started, in my opinion, of why I have such a big problem with this project. And I've made multiple videos about it. Somewhere along the way, between 2021 and 2022-ish, there was a contingent of people that started to believe that this coin was going to be the next Bitcoin. that this coin was going to, because it's pi 3.145, whatever the pi thing is. They believed that this coin was going to open up and be a $314,000 coin. That's when I was like, all right, let's pump the brakes. You have at the time, $100 billion max cap. You do the math. I mean, you're not a dumb guy. You do the math, and you're talking about the entire global economy if that coin was to be 314. So we knew that wasn't going to ever be a thing. You couldn't tell these people that, right? So, that's one thing. Then you had people really believing that this coin was going to be better than Bitcoin, that it's decentralized, which it's not, because you have founders that are active that hold a large supply of the coin that can change the protocol. And as far as I know, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, because I haven't really done I haven't done the research to check and see. Like, you can verify that Satoshi has 1 million coins in his wallet. You can kind of verify that even Vitalik has whatever coins he has in his ETH wallet. I'm pretty sure you can't do that with what the founders of this coin have. You don't really know where they have it, how much they have, and if they're moving. That's a problem. That's not decentralization. On top of the fact that, it opened with 6 billion coins so only 6% of the max supply. And even then, you had people believing that this coin was going to open at like a couple $100 a coin, and that's just not how crypto works. Tokenomics don't work like that. So, I questioned as early as a year ago if this whole project was a scam and it was never going to actually launch. It did, so that's a success. I'll give credit where credit is due. The coin is actually launched; it's live. It launched at 3:30 in the morning, right around depending on the three exchanges, close to $3 a coin. And then in that first hour or two, it was like settling between $1 and $2. Which again, not terrible. At 6 billion coins, that's a 6 billion market cap. It puts it in the top 20 of coins, I believe. Mm-hmm. If you look at, let's take a look. Let me go back and look at where 6 billion. So 6 billion right now is Bitcoin Cash is 6.45 billion. It's the 23rd coin. So if Pi settles at $1, it's below that right now. But if Pi were to settle around $1, you're talking about the 24th or 25th coin of the millions of coins that are out there. That's not awful, right? But it's not $314. It's not $314,000, and it's not Bitcoin. It's another shitcoin. It's what it is. It's better than a meme, I guess, maybe, but it's not Bitcoin. It's not even Ethereum. It's not even Solana. It's not even XRP, and I think XRP is a complete shitcoin, but XRP is a better coin at this point.
Is PiCoin a layer 1? Like, what even is it? Like,
It's
I have no idea what.
Again,
PiCoin is.
I got into some arguments with people about this, but if you look it up and you look up the coin, it says it's on the XLM protocol. It's on the Stellar protocol. So if it's on Stellar, it's a layer 2, right? Isn't that how that nonsense works? I mean, I'm a Bitcoin maxi. I don't get into the weeds of all that nonsense. But if, as far as I know, if something launches on XLM, that means it's a layer 2 of XLM. Again, I don't know. Don't hold my feet to the fire. I'm not sure. I will say again on camera to the viewers that PiCoin launching above $1 is a success. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal. I honestly, if I'm being completely transparent, totally expected to be worth parts of a penny like Dogecoin was at one point. Yeah. That's what I would have thought it would have been if you would have put a gun to my head. It far exceeded that, right? But, I had some fun at 3:30 in the morning. I got up and, I spent about 2 hours unhealthily probably going back and forth with people that have been telling me that this is going to blow Bitcoin out of the water, that it's going to open up at a price that I'm not even going to be able to believe. It's going to be 300, 1,000, 300. It's like, no, bro, like the coin opened up where way better than it probably should have, and it's kind of settling at this point in time. It's settling at 79. It's 79 cents as we're trading. That's a victory in my opinion.
Where's your liquidity? Like, where can you sell this coin?
Those three
Where
places.
can you trade it?
OKX is one. BitGo maybe, or Bit.io. I think Polynex might be the other one. I think those are the three. If there's somebody watching this that wants to tag on this video on X or YouTube and kind of tell us, because I'm not sure. I just know in New York State, where we're at in the United States, there's no place for us to do it yet. Yeah. Even if I wanted to sell my coins, which I do, I want to convert them to Bitcoin. I can't. So I have to wait.
You can't do OTC. Like, you can't. I mean, that.
I have to trust.
Yeah.
Don't trust verify, bro. I can't. I could send
You
to
don't have
somebody
any
to get
friends?
burned.
Pie friends?
No. I mean, most of the people that got into it long gave up on this coin.
Yeah.
Even
I
we
gave
talked
up
about
on
this
it, too.
before we went live. Like, I had something like 6,000 tokens because I was doing it in like 2021 or whatever, 21 and 22, and then I just gave up and stopped hitting the button because I'm like, this is a scam.
same here.
And I was making videos about it being a scam, so I kind of stopped mining. I clicked the button the last 2 days because I knew it was going to launch just to kind of see, and it's giving me 0.03 pi per hour, which is nothing. I mean, at this point, it's like parts of a penny.
So you have to touch
So-
this button every day?
Yep, you're still able to do it even though it launched. So you're getting free. At this point, it's barely anything.
Cents,
It's
yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
But if you take a step back and you put it into context, they created this token,
Which took 6 years to launch.
which took 6 years to launch, which is ridiculous in my
Yeah.
opinion for a token to launch in crypto at this point. It's not the first, even though a lot of Picoin people will tell you, it's not the first coin to be created on a cell phone. Electronium was. Electronium was created in 2017. It was a botched release. They messed up the liquidity. That coin, Picoin definitely did a lot of things better than Electronium did, but Electronium, if you look it up, is worth less than a penny right now. It's a complete shit coin. But Pi's worth 79 cents as we sit here now. So I would say, even though I would say it's a shit coin. I would say it's crypto coin. It's not something that you want, in my opinion. You're holding long term. It's not going to do good against the dollar. It's not going to do good in buying power, in my opinion. But you were able to get 79 cents for every Pi coin that you have at this point in time for free. And I had 6,000 and I didn't do it for 2 years. So I'm very sure that there's people out there with tens of thousands of tokens that just got a ton of quote unquote free money. That's a good thing. The main problem that I had with this project, and if you look at where the concentration of people are at, it's in China, it's in Nigeria, it's in India, very impoverished places. And those are the people that bought hook, line, and sinker the idea that they were going to get rich off this token. And I had people that whenever I like post something on and I'm trolling, if it's not obvious at this point, I'm completely trolling, and it gets people upset, and I just don't give a shit. And it only motivates me to do it more. I love trolling their shit because all the same people come in and talk their junk. So let's be clear on that. But a lot of those people, they have like 1,000 or 2,000, maybe 5 or 10,000, and they thought they were getting rich with that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you're not going to get rich. You're going to get free money. And that's good. That's a good thing. But expecting to get rich, and the other thing too, like 2 days before it launched, there was videos, and again, I can't verify them because I'm not there, I don't know, but there's videos of these dealerships in, I think, China or Vietnam or something like that were selling cars for one Pi coin. It's got to be made up because I don't know any car dealer. It's got to be complete engagement farming nonsense. That part probably is, but if you look in the comments, there's a lot of people that think that was going to be the case, and still, even at 79 cents, are saying, well, Bitcoin launched at less than $1 or less than a penny. I'm sorry, less than a penny, and it took 2 or 3 years to get $1. 100% it did. Major differences between Bitcoin and Picoin. Number one, supply. 21 million coin supply that there'll ever be. This has got 100 billion. Completely different supply numbers when you're talking tokenomics. That's number one. Number two, Bitcoin was first mover. Bitcoin was the very first coin in this entire ecosystem to ever launch. There was nothing before it to open the door for it. Bitcoin opened the door for every other shitcoin to come after it. So these other coins that get launched don't have to worry about the first mover problems that Bitcoin did. And that's why it took Bitcoin so long to get to that price point. Bitcoin is the reason why Picoin could launch at $1. If you really want to be honest.
Yeah.
Number two, decentralization. Picoin is not decentralized. I don't care what anybody tries to tell you. It is not decentralized when you have active founders that own a lot of coin. From what I've heard, they own 20% of the supply. I believe it's somewhere between 10 and 20 billion of the total 100 billion the founders are going to have. People will try to tell you, well, they're going to build liquidity. I don't know anybody. Like if you own a billion, just 1 billion. If you own 1 billion Picoin and you literally launch a coin to become a billionaire like overnight, like, and you own 10 billion of that, like, yes, there's some incentive for them maybe to offload some of them and keep other and hold because it's your project. Like I get some of that, but like you're telling me that these dudes aren't gonna realize some of those those games.
Like, you know Pi Network more than I do. Do you know more about their longer term roadmap? Like, what is their goal for the Pi coin? Is it going to be integrated into
Global world currency. That's their roadmap. That's what they're
global world currency?
They want to be the cryptocurrency of the world. That's their white paper. That's their roadmap. It's like you picking up a baseball bat and saying, "I want to be a Hall of Fame baseball player."
Mm.
That's what Pi's saying. Like they don't want to be a crypto coin. They don't want to be like a coin of choice. They want to take over the entire system. They want to go from 0 to 100, which is just not realistic. They're trying to sell it as a better option than Bitcoin. And it has so many fundamental flaws because so many people that got involved in this coin don't understand crypto, not Bitcoin. And I'll shit on crypto all day long, but I will give a crypto dude way more credit than I'll give one of these pioneer
like an
Pi
ETH
coin
Maxi?
people. Yeah, an ETH Maxi at least has a semblance of tokenomics and understands how markets work and knows the limitations of other tokens and objects. And just the problem that I have is there's so many of these quote unquote Pi influencers that have unfortunately given high expectations of people that should be happy that it's 79 cents a coin and should be like celebrating that they got this free money for nothing. And instead were sold this idea that they thought this coin was going to be worth all this money. It was going to change their lives. And it's like, they didn't buy any Bitcoin because they're like, this is better than Bitcoin. Why would I buy Bitcoin when I have this free token on my phone that's going to be better than Bitcoin? And they all got lied to. And now here we are.
It's a meme coin. I look at it like a meme coin.
I
respect a creative.
I respect your opinion on that, and I will give it a little bit of credit to say that I think it's a step above a meme coin. In my thoughts of like,
well, they took 6 years to craft a plan. You know, a lot of these meme coins.
Meme coins don't have roadmaps. They don't have white papers. So I would put it above that, even if their white paper and roadmap is completely illogical and not possible. At least they have something that they want to work towards.
On a bright note, meme coins pump fund, the amount of tokens that are being created are pretty much at lows before the run up.
Thank God.
And I think this is good for our space because I think the meme coin culture, like I agree with a certain extent to it, but like I think it's just all about extracting as much value from the market, and that's hurting other valuable projects that have fundamentals. So I think like the second half, like people that are watching this, like where do I see this market going? I don't think it's personally going to be like an altcoin season. We think like. All I see on Twitter is there's no altcoin season. There's no altcoin season, but I think it's going to be more of a rotational thing, and you got to be one step ahead of everyone. Like, see what the first movers are. Like right now, there's some good tokens, like BitSensor and other coins that are pretty strong, and those are the first things, the new shiny objects people are going to flock to. But if you think that everything's going to go up perfectly at the same time, and you're going to be able to sell it all at once. You're out of your mind. And I originally thought that too, but then I started to realize like this market's different. Every cycle there's a different approach you have to take. So it's not as easy as everyone thinks. Like this bull market is not unless you're a Bitcoin maxi, it's pretty hard to navigate, to be honest. Like I know fund managers that aren't even trading this market, especially in this ranging market. They're just waiting, and it's just we got to see what the dollar's going to do. I mean, we can pull this up and look at dollar weakness and talk about where I think we're going to be going. But I think the big major move happened, like that liquidation on ETH from like 2,800. I think it was like 30% in like 15 minutes. I think that was the big move. And I just think we're just going to be ranging for the next couple of weeks.
Are you on your X right now?
Yeah, I'm on X.
I'm going to tag you. I'm going to tag you in something here. I'm going to tag you, and I'm going to tag what I want to talk about real quick because she just reposted this, and you're going to be surprised that I'm going to talk about this and actually like this. I'm tagging you right now.
Okay, we'll share it.
And I want you to bring up her account. I just tagged you in it. If you can,
on X.
Yep. It's the account is heart-shaped mermaid. I want you to tag it real quick and bring it up. Bring up her profile.
Okay.
Oh, you know I hate meme coins. You know I hate crypto coins and all that nonsense, right? But I found her this week. Her daughter like drew a picture, and she made a meme coin out of it, and she's like doing it like it's like going to like a good. She's got a whole like idea where the money's going. She's trying to do good with the money that she's creating from this meme coin. If you look at her profile, her daughter's in the picture at the top, and I invited her on the podcast. So she could talk about it. And again, I'm a Bitcoin maxi doing this. But dude, kids, I love kids. I have 2 kids.
You're
Kids
a father too.
go right to my heart. And something like this, where you're not out there like trying to scam a community with a meme coin. Like she's trying to do something cool, and the fact that her daughter drew a picture and she memed it, and like I thought that shit was cool.
Yeah.
So
It's unique. I haven't seen it yet.
I just saw that she retweeted our thing, and I wanted to real quick just talk about it. And I invited her. We're gonna work behind the scenes in a future podcast. I want to interview her, and I want her to tell the story and kind of talk about her coin.
Yeah.
So
it was launched on Pump Fun. I can tell you that. Just Brendan contracted us.
Yeah, I don't know, but we can have her come on and we can talk about that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I want to move on to where I think the market's moving, and I want to say this quick quote before we start by Crypto Negato. Great follow, by the way. Markets don't move to reward the masses; they move to liquidate them. That's the brutal truth of this game. Before any major move, the market will do everything in its power to shake out as many people as possible. The market is a killing machine, especially those with weak hands and high leverage. It'll pump to bait longs, then nuke. It'll dump to scare you, then reverse. It'll convince you it's over right before liftoff. And you notice this cycle every day on crypto Twitter. It's over, we're back, it's over. It's just back and forth. Same shit every single time. And then if you look, like, on this, you can see we have the heat map of the liquidation heat map for Bitcoin shows that there's a bunch of short positions right around 101. So this creates potential liquidity magnet where a sustained move higher could trigger short liquidations, fueling further upside momentum. So if you're familiar with crypto, like it's very volatile. There's large moves. A lot of it is from high leverage traders, either shorting or longing a coin, and that's what drives all that momentum and fuel. So another quote I want to read is, the game is rigged, but once you understand the rules, you can play it to win. So here are some tips. Avoid getting lost in the noise that NPCs constantly generate. If you're on crypto Twitter, it's easy to get influenced by certain leaders that people look up to, especially when I first got into crypto. I would have a handful of accounts that I would follow and literally look at them like Crypto Jesus, because you're following their every single move.
There used to be a guy in Bitcoin named Bitcoin Jesus.
Really? What happened to him? He's in jail?
Are you being serious?
No, what happened? I didn't hear.
Yeah, he's literally in jail.
Was he? Okay, that's why you don't follow these guys.
Well, to be fair, he's one of my top 5 influences for me early on in crypto. I thought Roger Ver is who it is. It's Roger Ver.
Oh, okay.
It's taxes for him. But he went to the dark side with the block size wars, and he created Bitcoin Cash and became a pariah in the community. But you're right.
He was kind of like a leech, or not a leech,
I'll defend up until 2017. I'll defend Roger. He went to the dark side after 2017, and anything past that I will not defend. But I will say, because I was here in 2013, 14, 15, and 16, up to 17, he was one of, if there was a Bitcoin documentary that was made pre-2017, he was in it. Almost all of them. He's at all the conferences early, and he was talking about Bitcoin. The problem was he didn't want to go store value. He wanted to go peer-to-peer, and he wanted bigger blocks, and that was where he veered off from where we are today, and that's why he's not with us now. That's why he went to another country, evaded taxes, all kinds of other issues. I did see that there was a tweet that Ross tweeted today.
Free Roger Ver.
And I was tempted to retweet it because I really do think it's a good thing, but I was like, I just got.
He's doing life in prison for taxes?
He's not doing life yet. I don't think he's been. I don't know if he's necessarily been sentenced yet. I'm not really sure, but I know he's going through the legal system. But after this whole, we're going to talk about it, the tweet that I had about Doge and all the shit, I just was like, I don't want to start. He's coming after me because I got a soft spot in my heart for Roger, even though he is a shit coiner in regards to Bitcoin Cash now. He was just so instrumental, and I had interactions with him on X many times going back and forth because there wasn't a lot of us on Bitcoin Twitter in the early days. That I don't want to say Roger always gets a pass because that's not fair, but I do have a soft spot for him because of that. That's all.
Do you know everything that's going on with the David Portnoy and the Argentina coin?
Yes, I do. I've been listening to a lot of spaces,
and then
unfortunately,
the Watcher Guru just posted, Justin, SEC launches cyber unit to combat cryptocurrency fraud. He said, love it. So many scammers and liars out there. Let's clean the space up. Together we can win. I think David Portnoy is kind of playing this approach, this game where he's acting kind of dumb. Like he doesn't know what he's doing, and he's been in crypto since the last cycle. I remember him tweeting. So it's like
this is a dangerous game
because he knows like
this is a dangerous.
He's got to
game.
be watched.
He's getting credit because he's literally exposing the flaw in the game.
Yeah,
people are giving him credit for that. But I'm looking at it from a different angle, and I'm taking the other side of it. People are saying, well, he's saying literally, I'm creating this token, and I'm rugging it to show you how ridiculous all this is. So he's not trying to scam you. He's like, I'm creating a token, and I'm going to rug it. And people are such degenerates
that they're buying
that they're like, I want to get it before it rugs, and then they get rugged, right? Yeah. And it still happens. So it's like, the problem with that is there's just so many degenerates that he's such a big voice that he's showing how ridiculous this is, but people want to gamble so hard that they don't give a shit. And this big voice of David Portnoy is like, oh, look, Dave's one of us. He's meme coining. So let's all, and it brings more attention to what I made a video about a year ago, telling you that if you don't be careful, you guys in crypto, you're going to destroy yourselves with meme coins. And I think what's potentially happening, and I'm not going on record saying that this is what's happening, but I think it's a higher than zero chance that what meme coins are doing right now are going to be what destroys crypto more than Bitcoin destroying it. You're going to eat yourselves alive before Bitcoin gets a chance to do it for you.
Did you see that Brian Armstrong tweet?
Yeah, he's getting a lot of flack for it. He's comparing.
I don't want to get all into this, but basically saying that the meme coins, everything's going to be tokenized and brought on chain. So just because there's like a lot of memes and stuff, every post, image, video, song, asset class, user identity, vote, artwork, stablecoin, contract will be tokenized. So I think in the longer term picture, there's going to be a use case for all this nonsense. It's kind of like the early internet days when anyone would spring up a website for anything, any bullshit, even if it was just GIFs on a computer screen.
A use case for what?
Just like things that we don't even understand yet, because it's like technology is like, I mean, I can't wrap my head around it. Like, I'm not an engineer, but I know that the use cases for not just meme coins in general, just the fact that you can tokenize anything. You can tokenize a GIF, a song, a picture, a meme, and if people choose to buy it, like, I think it's a free market. I think they should be able to buy it. They just have to, I mean, I don't know, because
if you're creating,
we have a lot.
If you're, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're
sorry.
You're good.
No, if you
no, because I'm talking about like regulations. Like I know, like
that's where I was going to go.
Yeah.
You'll go on.
No,
go on
like
that.
what do you think?
Lean into that.
No, I'm just leaning into like where does this stand for like regulation? Because we were fighting for an unregulated market. You know, Gary Gensler, we wanted him out and stuff, and now I'm seeing memes that like, where'd you go, Gary? Like now it's just gotten 10 times worse. But I do think, and I want to hear your thought process on like, where do you think this goes as far as regulation? Because people are getting financially hurt, and yes, it's a cool idea, and it's a free market, so that's where it kind of like is contradicting, because it is a free market, and anyone should be, but like there's a lot of scams and fraud, and all these dexes like Jupiter are making revenue. They're like selling shovels. You know what I mean? Like Jupiter Exchange, they're facilitating trades for scammers to extract value from the Solana ecosystem. I think it's a sticky, like it's a tough conversation. It's not black or white. I think you have to get more into depth in this. And I'm not an expert in regulation, but what are your thoughts on that? Do you think there should be more regulation, or what do you think?
I think there's a fundamental problem with the ability for me, you, or anybody else to just create a token and monetize it with the explicit desires of rugging. And
but there's a difference
in the traditional markets. In traditional markets, you have regulations. You have the Securities and Exchange Commission, who I can't just go out and create a security and go out and try to sell it to people. I have to be registered, literally registered to do that, right? You know this from my day job. You have to be registered to go sell securities. So they have that in the traditional financial markets. Say what you will about the traditional financial market, and I'll say a lot about that. We do all that. However, there's a reason why that exists. And the reason why that exists, we're watching play out in crypto, in my opinion. You're seeing anybody can go on that pump.fund, create whatever they want, and it's player versus player. I've heard you say that a million times. That's what it is. You're literally creating a game where people are intentionally trying to hurt other people. Because when you're trading, there's somebody on the other side of that trade. You're taking money from it's like musical chairs. The last one to sit down loses. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm sorry, wins the game, and everybody else loses the game. So I don't know if you had a chance to see it. If you didn't, you should watch it. CoffeeZilla has leaned into this. He interviewed the sniper that did the Argentina coin.
Yeah.
Hayden is his first name. I forget his last name.
Davis or something.
He literally, and this is the craziness about this shit. He reached out to CoffeeZilla. He thinks he's doing like a come clean type thing, and he's literally just admitting to the snipes, admitting to the rugs, admitting to the scam, and just saying like, there's nothing wrong with the fact that I sniped this coin. Like, I was in touch with the team.
Yeah, I heard
had this inside
something
information.
that he wanted to sell liquidity because there was a 3-step process. The first step process was Javier Malay, if I said his name correctly, was releasing the token contract.
What a piece
making
of shit
a tweet,
he turned out being, huh?
Making a tweet. The second phase was they were going to create a video, and then the third phase was like big people were going to be talking about it on Twitter. And he was using that liquidity he pulled the liquidity because he was going to deploy it.
100 million plus.
Yeah. And he was
going to
deploy it on the second phase.
100 million plus.
His story's full of shit. You can tell he's a crypto scammer. He's a scammer.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what you're getting in these meme coins. Like, this is, and again, I would implore any of our viewers to go back to the videos that I made over a year ago or close to a year ago, saying that if we are not careful, meme coins are going to destroy crypto. As a Bitcoin maxi, I don't really give a shit. I think it should all blow up and it should be Bitcoin only. But I don't want that to happen in like a short period of time because it means a lot of people get hurt. People need to like go through their journey of shitcoining and make their way to Bitcoin and not be completely rugged out of the entire space. Yeah. It would be awful if it had and again, I'm saying this as a Bitcoin maxi, and I'm sure my Bitcoin maxi friends would completely disagree with me and all like celebrate this. But I'm a human being first before I'm a Bitcoin maxi. I don't want to see people that are in like large positions of crypto getting completely rugged the next like 3 or 4 months and just watch everything flow to Bitcoin and dominance go to like 90% and all these people just get harmed. Lessons are playing out, and I think this is good and healthy that we're seeing this cycle. Yeah. This is going to be what we look back on this cycle, and we're going to say the meme coins were the part of this cycle that people started to realize that it's Bitcoin is the asset. Yeah. You can't. There's probably going to be, again, as a Bitcoin maxi, I'll admit it. There's still probably going to be, and I'm on Bitcoin maxi spaces all the time, and even Bitcoin maxis are starting to say you can't get the degenerate out of people. Altcoins will always exist. Which ones are going to survive and exist, though? That's the thing. This is the part of the process. This is the part of the game that we're at right now, or the part of the stage of the game that we're at, where we're going to start killing off the 98% that aren't going to be here. Yeah, that's what's happening now. I think it's good, but I think it's also you need people with bigger voices than us to start being honest, because like I was listening to David Gockstein, who runs Spaces every single day, and they call it the Money Maxis thing, and they're just like everybody should be like trying to make money, which I agree with, but like they're still saying like how it's great that people are doing like memes are awful. Memes are not good. They're good for a David Gockstein who's got a large follower who can get inside information and make money and smart and has time because he's got money coming in and he can devote all the time to that. But John Q. Public that's working a day job, working 40 or 50 hours a week that tries to deploy some residual income into these meme coins, 100% of the time is going to get smoked. It's not good for them. So we have to start being honest and saying, if we're going to have this space mature and it's going to be crypto space, cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin maxis start to accept the fact that, yes, we say Bitcoin only for us, but we know that not everybody's going to be Bitcoin only. There's going to be people that are still going to be in altcoins, but they need to start choosing wisely which coins they're going to be in that are going to survive the carnage that's about to come.
Do you think these meme coins that are down 90-95% are going to come back later, the second half of the cycle?
No.
So you think that bubble popped and now the attention is going to shift?
It depends what you mean by come back.
Like I'm saying, like break all-time highs again. You know, the guy, the dog with hats that were shooting for $40 a coin. You know what I mean?
No, I don't. And even if they did, even if I'm wrong and they do, the only thing that's going to happen is it's going to be it's not going to be like where you're going to see in regular like coins like Ethereum and Solana, where you're going to see a run up and then you're going to see like a slow bleed back down. Those coins don't do that. You get the run up and then the next day it goes back to zero. You don't see, even with Bitcoin, Ethereum, regular coins, when they bleed, it takes a minute for them to, like, they might lose 50% in a short period of time, but they don't lose 90% in a day. You've never seen Ethereum, you've never seen in the modern times, maybe way back at the beginning, but in like modern, like mature crypto, in coins like Ethereum and Litecoin and Bitcoin and Solana to an extent, these coins that have been around since 2017 and earlier, you're not going to see a 90% drop in a 24-hour period.
Yeah.
You will with a meme coin. So even if I'm wrong and Dog with Hat hits whatever the fuck it was before that happens, the likelihood that you see a complete erasing of that like that is extremely high. And the people that are going to realize that big gain are so small and low that does it really matter that it did it? Because it doesn't affect the same amount of people that it does when these other coins, like if Ethereum runs up or Solana runs up, a whole bunch more people are going to be able to realize those gains than Dog with Hat or any of these other shit meme coins that people are going to be running up into and being the exit liquidity for. Am I wrong on that?
No, you're not wrong.
You're
Dog with Hat is like the Solana blue chip meme, and that's even down 86%. For that to go back to an all-time high, that's 674%. You know, there is a sunk cost bias where people are like adding to their losers. Like I'm currently holding my whiff, but I got in really cheap, like 6 cents.
What is it worth right now?
63 cents. But I think we'll have a dead cat bounce. I don't know. I think we're going to rotate. A lot of this value is going to rotate into the Ethereum. So what I like to do is just look at the Sol ETH chart. That fell off a cliff too. Like when this indicator went short, this was at 0.07. But yeah, I think the next half of it, like we're nowhere near the top. For those who think like, because all the sentiment, this is just a social sentiment. All the sentiment on Twitter is altcoin season's over, the top's in, and markets are irrational. And the primary driver of Bitcoin is global liquidity, which we're expecting an increase later this year. The TGA spend down, and also this is actually a relevant post I want to go over. Thomas on Markets.
Go ahead.
Great follow, and he's a low follower too. These are the best accounts. Are you familiar with Kathy Wood's ARK Innovation ETF?
Yeah, of course.
Well, that was like a big thing in 2020 during the pandemic, but then so I'm going to just read this. Everyone forgot about it when it got decimated. So 2021, 2022, this thing fell 80%. No one's really talking about it, and it's back. So let's see. Okay, so ARK's Innovation ETF, ARK, which is like an ETF for like NVIDIA or all these AI companies, tech companies. It's a more concentrated NASDAQ. It sits on the more speculative end of the U.S. stock market. It had a horrendous 21-22, same with Bitcoin. But since late 2022, it's done surprisingly well, up 126%, beating the S&P 500 by 75% and the NASDAQ 112%. It looks like ARK printed a clean breakout late last week. However, trading open on a Tuesday. All right, this was posted yesterday. But you can see ARK, the ETF, broke out, and this is signaling a more risk-on environment going into the second half of this bull run. And it's correlated to the business cycle, the ISM Purchasing Managers Index. So, I mean, I think personally from the data I'm looking at, not just from this tweet, but based on other metrics, like we're going into an expansion in the business cycle, which Ethereum and Bitcoin are heavily correlated to. And we have the TGA spend down. So I'm super bullish right now. Gold's at an all-time high. Bitcoin typically follows.
Did it hit 3,000 yet?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can take a look. But I just want to put like hope in, and I'm not just telling people what they want to hear. Like I genuinely believe like the top for Bitcoin, the top for a lot of these coins aren't in. Maybe some of your memes won't come back, but I mean, you can't fuck this up, because if you're gonna let Argentina and all these meme coins fucking steal all your money right before the fund starts, because 80% of the gains happen in the last 20% of the cycle. I think we're more than 50% have done with the cycle, but that would suck to like lose your coins before the mania really comes. You know, it's gonna go crazy.
Of course.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and then I want to transition into, because I've seen this on my feed, and I don't know if this is bullshit or not. Elon Musk says him and President Trump will discuss a DOGE dividend, $5,000 to each taxpayer.
This is what started my my tweet. So
Oh, yeah.
If you that's I'm right there underneath. So I'll tee it up, and then you can jump in where you agree, disagree. You
Yeah.
want to bring it back up,
Mm-hmm.
Rich? It's so we can kind of take a look at my response. So yeah, February 18th, which was 2 days ago. So today's Thursday, Tuesday. News broke. Forbes was the first to break it that Elon Musk and President Trump were talking about a DOGE dividend, which would be a tax refund sent to every taxpayer based on total savings thanks to DOGE. Okay. I saw that, and I really didn't have a lot of time to research, look into anything. I just tweeted my initial response, literally in real time, right? Saw the tweet. So if you scroll a little bit down, you'll see my response. Mine says, doesn't that defeat the entire purpose? How does that address the deficit if you take from one place, put in another, and the other isn't the deficit? Well, that got 41.4K views and a shit ton of comments.
Oh, wow.
And I would probably gather that the ratio was about 70-30. I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. Why don't I want to get my money back? So I want to talk about this because I think it's important to have these types of conversations. And again, we can have these conversations without arguing, and we can disagree. And I think it's good to have this sort of discourse. So this is my reasoning for why I said what I said and what I believe to be the fact when it comes to the DOGE and the dividend and all that kind of stuff. So for those that don't know, if you're watching this from another country, DOGE is the Elon Musk-led conglomerate that is trying to find fraud, waste, and abuse in government, and under my understanding, try to at least bring a little bit down our deficit in the amount of money that we pay that we're wasting to things that we shouldn't be wasting. These are facts. These are undisputable facts that I'm going to give you. This isn't Don making this up. You can look this up online and see that to back up what I'm telling you. In a roundabout fashion, every year the U.S. takes in about $5 trillion in tax receipts. Okay, federal government, $5 trillion in tax receipts. Current spending is $7 trillion. So we're spending 7, we're bringing in 5, which leaves a deficit of 2, which means we have to print money for that $2 trillion deficit, which makes the budget or makes the national debt go up. The national debt goes up because we have to print money to fill the gap that we don't bring in from taxes. That's number one. That's an important point. So people were crushing me saying that the money should come back, 5,000 should come back to us or whatever amount that they're finding. Everything that I've seen in regards to what DOGE has found in the first month is, and again, we can debate if this is a real number or not, but I've seen nothing more than 100 billion that they found. I don't know if 100 billion is the accurate number, if it's more, if it's less. Let's say it's 200. It's irrelevant. What we know that it's not is 2 trillion, right? So how do you give money back when it wasn't taxpayer money in the first place? Right? Simple mathematics and simple logic will tell you that until you're in a surplus, you shouldn't be sending taxpayer money back because what you're collecting isn't even enough for what you owe, right? If I had $5 and I owed 7, how would I look giving you 50 cents? I owe 7. I have to give the 5. I can barely even pay for that, and I'm giving you money? Pay this debt before you start doing this over there, right? So that's my ideology, that's my logic. And people are saying, well, that's taxpayer money that's being spent in all these other spots. And what I'm saying is, until DOGE brings us back to the 5 trillion that we're bringing in and below, there's no reason to be sending any money out. We saw what that looked like in 2020 and 2021 when we sent money out to people, right? Mm-hmm. Because what you're sending out is not the tax receipts, it's the money that was printed.
But this isn't printed. Well, it is printed, but
it was
they're not printing more of it.
But it's still going in, and it's still going to people. They're still going out and spending, and then it flows back to the top again, like it did last time.
True.
So my thought process is I am totally for sending money in the form of a rebate two taxpayers, which we did, Rich, you're young, did this in 2004. Or maybe it was 2002. We did it during the Bush administration. We still had a surplus left over from Clinton. We had a surplus with Clinton. Bush comes in and takes over, and he sends tax receipts back to people because the government was in a surplus. We ain't been in a surplus for 2 decades. So to have any conversations about sending taxpayer money back, we are not fulfilling our obligations. Until we get fiscally responsible and fulfill obligations, I have no idea how any sending of money back to the people makes any fiscal sense. Rich, I can see you in a corner of my eye. I want to say something on
two
that.
things. Yeah, like when that money came back.
Throw the camera on you so people can see.
Yeah, I don't have a camera.
Okay, sorry.
When I hold on, let me put it into the wide shot or something. Yeah, like when that money came back, I redid my bathroom. I put it right back because I wanted to do my bathrooms. I put it right back in the economy. I did it. But you're totally right. Unless the money that DOGE supposedly found
Claws back.
exceeds what you're going to give back, there's no point.
It's not taxpayer money.
Right. But even, let's assume that whatever, and I don't believe the 6,000 will go to everybody. Like, it's only going to go to certain people. Like, there'll be all kinds of parameters on it, and like certain people won't get it. So whatever that total it ends up being, you'll end up giving back more than you actually said you saved. Forget about the fact that it's not even in the budget. Like, you know, whatever he says
it's
that
defeating the
whatever
purpose.
they're saying they're saving isn't even like 1% of the budget. It's nothing. It's nothing until you start cutting some real things. Like
$100 billion of $2 trillion is only 5%,
Yeah.
and it's not bad in the first month. Don't get me wrong. If that's really what they did, that's good. But like to have the and the fact that it was even like floated after 1 month is just disgusting to me. And again, you heard me talk, both of you did, on this podcast 6 months, 7, 8 months before the election, when I told you, and everybody's like pro-Trump and pro-MAGA, and I told you Trump started the inflation and left kicking and screaming, wanting to do more stimulus. He wanted to do 2,000 when we were doing 1,400, if you remember, because he loved seeing Donald J. Trump on all those checks. He loved that. Had to make sure it was on there. So he's pro-stimulus. He wants to give money out, which I'm nervous about because that's how we got into this inflation problem in the first place. We can talk semantics.
this is a one-time thing too. Like fix the tax code. Like
100%.
make the tax code more fair. Like so that I don't
Yes.
just get it for 1 year. I want to get it for the rest of my freaking life. Like fix the tax code. Like
Or just let me keep my money and don't take it in the first place.
yeah, that's what I mean.
Do
Fix
whatever
the
you
tax
want.
code and make it-
Do whatever you
So you're
want.
saying like no income tax?
Yeah. I mean,
They should.
honestly, like,
They can't
what's
do
the
that
difference?
unless they actually start taxing billionaires.
Let's-
They're not going to
well,
tax. He's not.
No,
gonna tax
no, that's
billionaires.
that. I don't want to go there because I don't think that would be a solution either. What I'm saying is, what's the difference at this point in time at $36.5 trillion of debt? We're still functioning. Everything's still rocking. What's the difference if we go from paying for $2 trillion to just saying we're going to print the whole thing? Nobody's paying taxes.
Yeah.
We'll just print 7 every year, perpetually, because we have the U.S. dollar that's the reserve currency. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more inflation. Okay, but everybody gets it.
Yeah.
You're keeping all your money now. Like, is that the ideal solution? Probably not. But I'm saying, like, what's the difference between printing 2 and printing another 5?
Yeah.
And just because what you're doing is you're giving money back when you still have you haven't solved the deficit problem. You're giving the money you found back, which keeps us in the deficit anyways. So like, what are we really talking about? Do we really want to address a deficit because people will tell me, I'm open to the argument where it's like, well, the deficit doesn't matter. If the deficit doesn't matter, why do we pay taxes?
Yeah.
Why are we even having a tax conversation? If you're not going to fix the tax code, you're going to continue to tax us, and you're not going to fix the deficit, why are we arguing over should we get 5,000 or not? Like that, we're having the wrong argument. Like we're not. Look, they're like you're a clown. People were saying that you're a clown. You must not pay taxes. It'll help me pay my bills. And like they made decent points. Like if people got $5,000 back, it would help. Of course it would. We all know this, right? Except that we know that they won't do that because they got 10,000 in 2020,
know what
and
they're-
people went into more debt.
We don't even know what they're spending all this money either. Like if it was on chain, everything was on chain, and everything was transparent, and it showed you where this money was going, we'd probably be pissed off as Americans.
Yeah, we have to go on what they tell us.
Yeah.
In Elon's defense, he did float the idea of doing a blockchain for government spending, which I think would be a dynamite idea.
Yeah.
They'll never do it. Congress will never, ever, 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 ever pass that.
They
But
should.
the fact that it's been floated,
I think it'll happen.
no way. You kidding me? Do you recognize when you're a congressman, like what the perks of that are?
Yeah.
If everything is blockchain, nobody can get any kickbacks on the side. You can't do any like the Pelosi tracker, like all
yeah.
you can't.
She's done.
There's no shot.
She's being freaking the DOGE are coming after her too, because a lot of these people have
see.
salaries of
We'll
100,000 worth
We'll see.
millions of dollars.
We'll see. We'll see how all that. See, that's the stuff that we need to like. If we do a surplus, and I'm pretty sure, Rich, you can look it up while we're sitting here. Whenever they gave that, I don't think it was like they didn't do that in 2000. I don't think we got checks back in 2000. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did do it right away, but I don't think it was the first month they started floating those ideas. I could be wrong. Again, I'd have to check.
Well, if you did get,
But it was like $300 they get. It was like 300 single and 600 family back then. It wasn't 5,000 family or whatever.
What are you
ridiculous
buying with
idea
that
they're
5,000?
floating. See, we're not fiscally responsible as a nation. We're not fiscally responsible as individuals. People are just going to go out and spend it. Like you're going
Yeah.
to see Walmart
The only one
selling
Walmart.
TVs.
the Economic Stimulus Act was in 2008. That was when George W. Bush did.
Was it that late that he did
It was
that?
that late because it wasn't early.
So it was him going out.
Because what happened was I mean, I remember it, and it was. I guess I didn't realize it was that late. It wasn't that close to 9/11. It was a lot of the shit that happened after 9/11, the economy and then the recession, all that shit. So he was trying.
So
to
that was
stimulate the
pre
economy.
GFC then.
I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
'Cause it was
And then
before- it was before.
and then the housing
election
market
and all
falls
that
out.
stuff. It was
Then the
year-
housing market faltered after.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
wow.
all part of.
I didn't
was
realize
before
that.
the housing market stuff, but it was close to it. I guess it's a lot closer to it than we realized.
Wow. I didn't realize that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that was the tweet, and I got a lot of like I said, 70-30 people were like crushing me, saying that who am I to say that we shouldn't get our hard-earned taxpayer dollars back. And it's just like, and I tried to engage a little bit and let people know, like, do you realize that we're in a deficit? Do you realize that like part of their job is to like clear up that deficit, claw back some money? And the other thing too is like when they're finding money, they're not actually finding cash. 2024 was already paid for. All they're doing is finding places that we're not going to have to spend the money for 2025. Right? So we still have obligations. We still have $7 trillion to pay for. Maybe now it's only 6.9 because they took 100 billion off. But until we're at 4.9, why are we talking about giving money back? Like I just don't. It's just this ideology where we just don't have fiscal responsibility, and we don't have like we're playing to people's like financial illiteracy by and a lot of Republicans, which I definitely don't agree with. We're saying, well, you got to do this so you can get support from the Democrats. So the Democrats will support. It's like they ain't
I did see
supporting
that
it.
too.
They're
Well,
not supporting
I did
Elon. Democrats hate him. They hate Trump. You could do the coolest shit ever, and you're not going to get the left to support anything. We are in a super polarized political climate. It doesn't matter what you do. If you give $5,000 to people, they're still going to hate Trump. They're still going to hate Elon. They're going to be happy they got the money. Look at them. You got all the money back in 2021, and people still hated Biden.
Yeah.
Or when
Trump.
Trump was giving it, they still hated Trump. That's not going to change it. You're not buying votes. You're definitely not buying votes. That's a terrible
You think
argument.
it's like a way like to buy votes?
That's what they're saying, and I don't think that that's true. I don't think that plays out.
I think it's really just it's a thing. Bush did it for the same reason. I think it happened before. It's just Biden did it. It's just kind of like, hey, I'm just trying to help you out. What a great guy I am.
And it doesn't
That's
work.
really all it is.
And it
But,
doesn't
like,
work.
And it doesn't work because it's not enough. Like 10 grand's not enough. Like for people that can't afford to buy a house or whatever it is, that until you fundamentally change some of the things going on in the economy.
Can we fix the system first
Like,
before we
fix
just
the
start giving
system.
people money?
Like, if the president, any president, or Musk or anybody wants to impress me, say, you know what? Next year's budget will not exceed the amount of money coming in. Balance the damn budget. Balance that. Then you'll impress me. Like then I'll be like, you know what? I don't need the $5,000 you're going to ban the budget because I don't have to worry about my kids having this deficit and grandkids. But you're totally right with people like, well, who do we owe this money to? We owe it to ourselves. I'm like, yeah, but it just fundamentally your country is falling apart because you won't get control of your finances. Like it will catch up, and it won't catch up to us. It's going to catch up to Troy's generation.
This mindset of just getting free lunches and free money, like you are advocating for more stimulus. I don't care what you call it. It's stimulus. You're getting money back. Instead of holding the government accountable to fix the flawed system, which this administration was tasked to do, fix the IRS, fix the healthcare system, fix all these things that are broken. Like, can we fix some things before we start sending out more money to pile on we just got a CPI reading a couple weeks ago that was hot. It wasn't good.
I think the $5,000 checks is more like, look at me, look at what I've done with the DOGE.
That's all that it is.
Kind of win their trust. Like, we're doing this, we're saving government spending, and
don't trust, verify. Do some shit that we can verify. That's how you earn trust.
Yeah.
Unless you're an idiot. I mean, and I hate to say that, but that being happy that they're going to send you $5,000 and they don't fix anything is kind of idiotic.
You got a little bit. You're running out of time, but I wanted to just notice. I'm looking at your views today, and your views are over 200.
Yeah.
So shout out to all the people that watched today.
Yeah.
In today because
good.
I don't think we normally.
No, it's pretty high.
Top 200. So
it's pretty high. Yeah. While you brought that up, while you brought that up, we can say if you're watching this for the first time, please give a like. To this video on whatever platform. We're live right now on Facebook, we're live on X, and we're live on YouTube. If you're not subscribed or not following us, at the bottom of this screen right now, you'll see all of our socials. Please consider following. We film live every single Thursday, usually at 11 o'clock. I had some scheduling conflicts earlier, so I had to push it back a little bit. So typically we're filming at 11 o'clock, although maybe this 3 o'clock time frame is better if we're getting this many views at this time. We might have to rethink that. But I'm a Bitcoin maxi. Troy is slowly but surely coming over to the dark side of Bitcoin maximalism. We spent some time talking about Pi. I'm sure we got viewers because people, saw that and they had the launch and stuff like that.
Angry Pies.
Yeah, Angry Pies. If you are in crypto, if you are in this space, you have to read the Bitcoin white paper, read the Bitcoin standard, study Bitcoin, study why Bitcoin exists, why it was created, and you'll understand. It'll all start to make sense. Go down the rabbit hole. Follow good accounts. Just because somebody has 100,000, 500,000, or 1 million follows or subscribers, whatever the case may be, doesn't mean they know what they're talking about or are giving you your best interests. You get the realness from me and Troy. We don't sell products. We don't shill coins. We don't have sponsors. We just give you what we're thinking. And I can speak from my side. I love the discourse. I love when people disagree and we have conversations on it. I would hope that it stays relatively, cordial. And when it doesn't, I can get mean too. I mean, it is what it is. It's fun. It's all in good fun. At the end of the day, I sleep fine when somebody says something dumb on social media. It doesn't ruin my day. But yeah, we appreciate all the views today. It's fun. It's fun in this space when you're doing it and doing it the right way. You're doing it with integrity. You can hate us. You can hate our viewpoints, but you can't say that we don't have integrity because we're not trying to scam. We're not trying to shill. We're not making any money from the community. We're just being two dudes that are into crypto and Bitcoin, that are sharing their opinions, sharing their journeys. I've been in this thing 11 plus years. Just sharing my journey, sharing how things have gone. And if you look back on some of our previous podcasts, we have interviewed some other people, prominent people. We Rashad Evans has got a fight coming up. We did Rashad Evans a couple years ago. Brian Rass, Poker Hall of Famer, who's a Bitcoiner. We did him.
2 Hall of Famers. So
2 Hall of Famers we've interviewed on our podcast, and we plan to do more interviews. Reach out to us if you got something going on and you want to talk about it and share it on our platform. I actually I don't know if I shared with you, but I had somebody reach out to me that wants to collaborate with us. Okay. He's got some stuff going on the TikTok side. and the crypto TikTok side. He's got a bunch of followers, almost 100,000, and he's been doing it for a minute. And he reached out to collaborate. And I'm going to meet with him next week to talk about it. So there is some stuff going on behind the scenes. You know, I mentioned the other one, Heart Sparkle Mermaid. We're going to have her on to talk about her meme coin that her daughter created. But at the end of the day, all things in life, no matter what it is, if it's crypto, if it's Bitcoin, or it's a founder, or it's an influencer, or it's us, don't trust, verify. See you next week. Peace.